Goodman and Hummel podcast, and we got Robbie Hummel.
I'd known you since you were a kid.
I could blow my knee out, both knees, and still kick your ass.
We're trying to find the Robbie Hummel statue.
I wanted to kill you.
All right, let's get going here. Goodman and Hummel pod. It is Thursday afternoon, and Rob, I know you saw Maryland get a third straight win last night against Wisconsin in College Park. We'll get to that later in the pod. But the first question I'm going to pose to you, I don't know if you saw the video from one St. John's head coach, Rick Pitino, about John Calipari, his not-so-good buddy, returning to Lexington this weekend. So Arkansas goes back to Kentucky, and Arkansas has been awful. And he kind of goes, I don't know if he goes with his tail between his legs, hoping he won't get booed. But Rick Pitino said that they should not boo him. And he's got experience back in I think it was 2001. He went back to Kentucky, but he did it as a head coach of the Louisville Cardinals. So it was a little bit different, I think. And
Wait,
also,
Pitino said they should not boo him, or they should
correct,
boo him?
Should not boo him. Should not boo him.
Oh. Well, that's classy of Coach Pitino. I'm
Why?
kind of surprised, though.
Why is Rick Pitino even weighing in on this? He's not close with Cal.
Didn't he go? He went back there he's been back. So he seems to kind of pop up in Kentucky affairs, he definitely has a connection to that state. Louisville, Kentucky, the horse stuff, he has a lot of just still, I feel like, interest there. But I'm surprised he wasn't like, dude, boo the hell out of him. Just do but I guess I think there is a mutual respect that coaches have for coaches. Even when Hurley was dealing with the storm of a few weeks ago, he came out and said in his presser, the only thing I'm embarrassed about is when I, look at Sean Miller, I look at these coaches that I really respect, and, they've seen me say this. So I think that kind of falls into the same category. Rick Pitino has respect for coaches everywhere, and even if he doesn't care necessarily for John Calipari, it is, I think coaches stick together in this profession. Although it would be way funnier if he was like, yo, just boo the shit out of him.
It's just weird he got involved because, again, it's not like he and Cal have had really any sort of relationship for the year. It's funny, back when I kind of got it, when you were still playing, I remember when Cal would say something, Cal would kind of say something about Louisville or about Pitino. I remember all I'd have to do is call Rick, and immediately he would fire back. It was like dealing with two children.
And that makes it an awesome rivalry, too.
It was great.
That's what ramps that rivalry up from it was always really good to now it's elite, because it's like Bobby Knight and Gene Cady, or Mike Krzyzewski and Roy Williams, or Dean Smith. It ramps that thing up. It was good for that. Yes. It was really good for that.
So my question to you is, if you are a Kentucky fan and John Calipari walks into that arena, and he was there for 15 years, and obviously we know what he did there. He won a national title and helped make them relevant pretty much every year. Obviously they lost some first-round games.
Frustrating tournament the last 3 years, but
what are you doing?
I would cheer him. I would cheer him. Yes. Because, I think he left and it was kind of best for all parties. It had run its course. It wasn't working for Kentucky. It wasn't working for John Calipari. But, look at the team he put together in 2012. That team was stacked, dude. Yep. No one was beating them. That Kansas team that played him in the national title was good, but that was a great coaching job by Bill Self. He didn't have a single McDonald's All-American on his team. And then you look at that Final Four, for one, was stacked with Louisville and Kansas and Ohio State and Kentucky. But Terrence Williams and Anthony Davis, the weak link in that starting lineup was pretty much Marcus Teague, and he was a really good college player, not a great pro. Darius Miller is coming off the bench. They were loaded. I think, you think about that team, or was it the Harrison twins team that lost on the buzzer beater
Yeah, Wisconsin. The
Yes,
Wisconsin.
so like that team was really good. He had teams that were close, and it's like a possession away.
I mean,
he put throws out there. I
John
get where
Wall,
Kentucky fans have frustration. Oh yeah, Wall and Cousins,
right?
Totally. They should cheer him.
I agree.
I don't know if they will, but they should.
I don't think they will. I do not. I've talked to enough fans there. I don't think they will.
Who
I
likes
think
you
you'll
from
get
Kentucky?
a mix. I think you'll get a mix. I think
hold
the
on.
older fans,
before you go in there, who likes you from Kentucky?
Oh no, they like me now. They love me now. No, they don't love me now, but they like me now.
I'm starting to realize that no one likes you. Honestly,
no, they.
That's what I've gathered in my travels. That's what I have really gained from a knowledge base that honestly, not many do. Not many do.
Actually, I've had plenty of Purdue fans come up to me and say, "Hey, you do an unbelievable job with Rob with the podcast, and it's unbelievable the shit that you take from him."
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to read our texts from last night at 5:54 p.m. Don't suck tonight. I was about to tip off Maryland and Wisconsin.
Yes. I was giving you advice.
Hold on. Shut up. Let me finish. Then at 6:17, so what? 23 minutes have passed. I guess you didn't listen to my words of advice. Okay. I literally respond, LOL. 1 minute later, poor Horowitz. That's my partner. I go, you are such a hater. I'm not texting him back like immediately, but I'm texting you in the timeouts. And then you go, this guy is calling an elite game and you are holding him back. And then you said, honestly, they should just send you home.
Yeah.
And I said, and then I said, hold on. Is there a reason you're harassing me? Yeah, I have to listen to you. And then you said, I might change the channel to Presbyterian versus Winthrop. I said, put it on mute then with an expletive. So do you think that you're nice to me?
You
didn't think I'd bring the receipts, did you?
I can give you plenty of tweets. I can send you plenty of tweets from over the years. Wow. But I've been rather complimentary.
Yeah, you didn't think that I would air your dirty laundry.
That was just wrong. That was wrong.
Dude, no. Honestly, though, like you like to hide in the shadows. DePaul fan 25 or whatever his name was found out the hard way.
I don't know who that is. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. You know who DePaul fan I'm talking about.
What I do know is somebody reached out to us about Divine Providence. I'm not kidding. About doing a story a year later. They hit me. Tell
them to call me. Give him my phone number, my address. I'll do a freaking in-person interview for that shit.
You'll do an exclusive?
Oh, yeah. I'll sit down. I'll make dinner. I don't care. I will talk Divine Providence forever. That's my favorite movie I've ever seen.
Favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. I put it up there with like Apollo 13 and, all those great movies. Air Force One, Divine Providence.
Let's get back on track here. Let's get back on track. I would say this if I was a Kentucky fan, here's the difference now, is Calipari does not walk in as a threat. Like, to me, I would boo his ass if they were coming in and they were in first place and Mark Pope's struggling or mediocre. But it's the opposite. Right now, they're not a threat. I mean, if they win on Saturday, maybe they kind of become a dark horse to get back to the NCAA tournament. But right now, they're a crown team. That's what they are. They're headed to the crown at this point. So, and Mark Pope has done arguably the best coaching job in the country this year. So to me, cheer him. Cheer him.
I agree. You've got what you wanted. You play them out on offense. You shoot a bunch of threes. You're winning games. Calipari won a lot of games for them too. They should cheer for him. I doubt they will, but they should.
Yeah, I think it'll be mixed. I think it'll be a mixed bag. And one of the interesting things will be actually post-game, Rob. If they lose, does Cal go to the podium post-game, or does he run out of there?
No, he should go to the podium.
It
just looks, I think it looks worse if you don't.
Agreed.
It would be a mistake by him to skip out on a post-game interview if they lose. He should definitely. It's more of a story then. If you go there and just answer the questions, no one cares.
Yes.
Yeah, it's year one. We got to get better. We got to evaluate, but whatever. But you go there and you face the music. But if you don't, then it's a national story.
So we're talking about that game right now to open our pod, because I think it's the biggest storyline, not the best game, but the biggest storyline of the weekend. And
which is kind of crazy because it is like the rivalry weekend.
Right. I mean, Duke's playing Carolina. That's where game day has opted to go.
Yep.
Carolina is a fringe tournament team. Duke's the number 2 team in the country. I don't know how much of a game it's going to be. I know everybody, well, throw out the records, right? Everybody said, throw out the records. Yeah, I'm not sure you're going to throw out the records on this one. Neither game is great, whether it's Kentucky, Arkansas, or Duke, Carolina this year. Why wouldn't you go with the biggest storyline? I don't understand this one.
Well, I mean, they also could have went, now granted, like Purdue, Indiana's a Fox game, so they're not going there. But you have Tennessee, Florida, which is more of, I guess, a football rivalry, but still a great game. It's still a great game. Is there any other rivalry games that are this?
No, I think you should have went to Cal.
I guess that it's the only rivals are Purdue, Indiana, Friday, and I guess Arkansas, Kentucky's not a rivalry game. We're making it one, but North Carolina, Duke, and Purdue, Indiana are the 2 rivalry games of the week.
Yeah, I just think there's more drama with this one. You can build this one up because, again, what's the reception going to be like? Can Arkansas get back into the mix here? Is Kentucky a legitimate national title? There's enough. And Mark Pope, you could sell Mark Pope. And anytime you go to Lexington right now, you're telling that crowd is going to be awesome for that game. Well, they're going to be hungry. They're going to be, I mean, again, and Pope is as engaging as maybe any coach in the country. I think it'd be fun. I think you could have Pope and Calipari up there together. I think they both would do it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
All right. Next, John Calipari's future at Arkansas. Is this a one-off in your opinion? No, I'm not saying he's going to be done.
This is year one, man.
No,
it's year one.
No. I'm not saying like he's gone. I'm saying, is this a one-off or is this going to be par for the course at Arkansas and John Calipari can't figure it out?
They have money. And if you have money, you have a chance. Now, I think they've clearly have to do a better job of building a team. And we've seen other teams that have money not do a great job of picking pieces that fit together. The argument from Kentucky fans would be, dude, we've seen this for the last 3 years of pieces that don't fit together. So I think there'd have to be some adaptation or somebody that can be the guy that kind of is a GM like. I'm guessing that that's probably not happening. But I just think that as long as you have money, you still could get lucky. Sure. You still could go out there and pluck the right dudes. And so I don't think that this is necessarily a sign of the future, but you would hope that there'd be some changes. We did a podcast a year ago where we're like, there has to be some changes. Right. So maybe I'm a moron for not being like, we've been saying the same thing and expecting a different result, which is kind of the definition of insanity here. But I just think as long as you've got a bankroll behind you, and who knows what's going to happen with rev share, because that seems to be like not that close anymore with the Department of Justice's recent rulings. So I won't say yes, but I understand why you would say it. I could see the logic behind there isn't flawed because we've been saying that there needs to be changes with him for a while.
I just worry. I mean, again, your staff, we said this a year ago, and he lost John Welch, his one NBA guy, to Fresno State. He literally left John Calipari's staff to go be an assistant at Fresno State.
Why?
And he didn't replace him with another NBA guy.
Wait, why did he do that?
I don't know. He
there had to be a reason. You don't go from Kentucky to Fresno State to be an assistant.
Well, he went with Vance Wahlberg, who he's got a long relationship with at Fresno State, but I don't understand why you would do that. Maybe it was to get on the court. He's one of those on-court positions. But, he replaces a guy like that with Kenny Payne, who's coming off arguably the worst run in NCAA basketball
and he
history.
would be considered a recruiter, not.
But why do you need recruiters now? You already have Chin Coleman. You have Chucky Martin. They're recruiters. Yeah. You're going to add another duplication in Kenny Payne when ultimately all that matters is
that's a bad decision.
Correct.
You need some X's and O's.
Then
His
he
Chin
added,
isn't Chin
Brad
more of a
Calipari.
recruiter too?
He added Brad Calipari to his son, to the staff. So it's like, you know what? Sometimes you get what you deserve on these things. Like, you need to adapt. You need to try something different. Nate Oates, go look at Alabama right now and see how Nate Oates is doing it. He's got 2 NBA guys on his staff.
Right.
One running the offense, one running the defense. He's got Preston Murphy as a dog recruiter, and who helps the coaching, and who, big with player relationships. There's no duplication, is what I'm trying to say. No duplication.
Right. Everyone has their role, and they fit in, and it all fits together.
Yep. I mean, it's just going to be interesting. It
will be. But I do think that as long as you have cash, and Arkansas has cash, you will have a chance.
Is Mark Pope the National Coach of the Year? I say yes. And it's close between Bruce Pearl of Auburn, to me, who nobody thought would be number 1 in the country this year. I mean, everybody had him like in the back end of the top 25.
Yeah.
Mark Pope, though, took over a program, and he didn't keep anybody. Not a single player on that team. Yes, he played at Kentucky, but he had never coached there. New coach, entirely new team. I mean, he brought Jackson Robinson with him from BYU, but pretty much an entirely new team. And they are in the top 10-ish. They're right there as like a 2 seed right now. While a lot of these other programs, Calipari included, who hired new coaches and had a lot of turnover, are floundering miserably. Pat Kelsey's probably the one who's not at Louisville.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's done. Isn't Pat Kelsey's in the top 25?
Yeah.
No. You're doing in the freaking dock. Did you hear me?
Hold on. Say that again. You froze.
Yeah, your nice surprise is ruining this podcast.
You froze.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today. Now that the college basketball season is in full swing, you need to make sure that you have access to the best betting tool on the market, the Rhythm app. Spelled RITHMM, is a data-backed app that uses AI and analytics to identify inefficiencies in betting lines and the player prop market that will allow you, the user, to profit. You can create customized, analytics-driven betting models tailored to your personal preferences as a bettor. Users have access to up-to-the-second against-the-spread data. And if you're like me and you understand pictures better than numbers on a screen, Rhythm's internal trend analysis provides you with the kind of graphs that will allow you to evaluate past results and project future performance in a visual way. Every Division I college basketball team is included in the Rhythm's metrics. Free subscribers to the Field of 68 Daily will get 25% off for a Rhythm subscription. Use the QR code on the screen to sign up or download at the link in the description.
No, for being outside and ruining this pod because you want a good background. That's selfish.
We're
recording and it's freezing.
I want to make you feel awful about yourself and everything.
Yeah, I know. Sending me last night. All right, so we're talking about Coach of the Year. What TJ Otzelberger, I think, probably. Although that
he's been great.
Arizona was insane. The Caleb Love 3/4 court shot. I don't know if you can give it to Todd Golden because although it sounds like you would know better than me, but it sounds like that has gone away. I guess.
Yeah, he got cleared. I mean, the Title IX's over. Title IX's over.
So I mean, I guess they're 18-2. What were they preseason ranked?
I think they were like top 20. So not bad. Not bad. I mean, again, like I just think Pope, it's a different situation that, again, he didn't sign up for. Completely different team with all new guys.
Yeah. I think Tom Izzo is probably in the mix for that. They weren't expected to be good, and they're in the top 10. I think it's too early to say, but I wouldn't say that he's the shoe-in runaway. Has he done a great job? Absolutely. But I think that there is still a lot of basketball to be played, and I think there are a number of guys that could slide into that award.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Pope as of today. But again, we got time left. I mean, that's the one thing here is, listen, I've done plenty of these Coach of the Year polls.
What about Rick Pitino?
Yeah, I mean, are you surprised, year 2, Rick Pitino, that they're this good with shooting the ball this poorly?
But they've become elite on defense.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, because you look at what they were last year, kind of middle of the road defensively for a high major school, middle of the road in the Big East. And man, you look at this team and they're a top 5 defense, and they just pressure the hell out of you. Ejiofor has gotten so much better. They rebound just like gangbusters. They just do a couple things really well. So, and if you get offensive rebounds, that can negate some of that shooting that leaves a lot to be desired. But they also have good players.
They do.
Kadari Richmond's a good player. RJ Lewis is a good player. So I like the way they play. They're fun to watch. They play hard. And I was lucky enough to get to play against Rick Pitino in college. So just to get to see some of the pressure, and they were actually a shell of what they were at that point, because Derek Character was suspended. Juan Palacios was hurt. And oh my God. They had one more guy that was hurt. He was the interim coach.
Earl Clark?
They had Earl Clark. They were still pretty good, actually. David Padgett was hurt. But they had Earl Clark. They had Terrence Williams. They had Edgar Sosa. But they pressed us the whole game. So
I wish I could tell you a Terrence Williams story right now. I cannot tell you a Terrence Williams story, but
I think they're numerous. So
it's one of the elite stories of all time that
I believe that.
I've heard. Unfortunately, I'm teasing a story that I cannot actually tell, which is wrong.
Great podcasting here. This will go. I think they'll teach this at Syracuse about how to really tease a good story.
how to
suck at podcasting. Listen to this.
Much. Tease something that you can't talk about. All right, Maryland. You were there last night in College Park. First of all, Scott Van Pelt said to me, he was on last night on After Dark, and what he said was the crowd was really good, but
it's not what I've been there when it is elite. Yeah. I have seen it when it's at its best. That would have been Willard's first year. They played Illinois in it was like, and they were starting to, I think the crowd was starting to figure out there that team was going to be pretty good. They made the tournament that year. Jameer Young went nuts. And I've seen it in like the Melo Trimble and that kind of era with Braden Smith and, those guys. So it was definitely good, but I think Scott is right in that it can be a little better, but the students showed up. I think still for Maryland, like the general pop is where and think about it, when you're in a major city, whether it's Chicago or what Washington's dealing with out West and Seattle, the LA teams deal with, you're fighting a lot, man. You are, and Scott and I were talking about this at the game last night. He's like, the Wizards play the Lakers tomorrow. Like, so if you want to get basketball and you want to get your fix and you're like, well, I could go to Maryland or I could go see LeBron, right. You're probably going to go see LeBron. Yeah. But you're also dealing with the Commanders and, certainly the nation's capital has a lot of other stuff going on from a cultural, music, whatever, nightlife. There's a lot of stuff to do in DC. So I think for that fan base, you've got to prove that you're a really good team. And they're starting to do that. They've had an incredible week. The whole narrative that Maryland can't win on the road, and the numbers kind of backed that. It wasn't like pulled out of thin air. But to go to Illinois and Indiana.
Hey, before you get going on actual Maryland, I want to stop you because you were talking about all the cultural things to do in DC. Have you done any of those ever? I mean, you've been there a bunch.
I went on a field trip in 8th grade, and we did everything.
But then, you have not like.
No, when I was in the NBA, one night.
Museum, no museums for you.
I've been to the museums. I've been to the National Air and Space Museum. I've been to the Smithsonian. I've been to the Holocaust Museum.
Okay. All right. So you have a little bit of culture in you.
I love DC. Honestly, I fly into Reagan every time because I like driving through the mall. which,
right.
you know, that's been in the news, unfortunately, as of late. But yeah, when I was in the NBA one night, we were staying at, I think the Ritz is right down there, and I just walked from the Lincoln Memorial to the Washington Monument to the Jefferson. Like I like that stuff. I think the Revolutionary War is fascinating. So
what do you think the most cultured thing you've ever done is? What's the one thing that people would be surprised about?
I've been to a good amount of Broadway musicals because my mom really liked them. So this is pretty good. I got Donny Osmond's autograph on a Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat playbill when I was like 7, and I could sing every word to every song on that. My voice is terrible, but I know the words.
Really?
And me and my best friend from like middle school, high school, and another one of my buddies, we were like, we'll be famous too. So we signed the playbill and ruined it. But yeah, I met Donny Osmond. I really like musicals.
Give me your top 3. Give me your top 3 musicals of all time.
I love Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay.
Hamilton was phenomenal.
Yep.
You know, I saw Lion King when I was a kid, and I really like Lion King, but I wouldn't say top 3. Book of Mormon is hilarious, but it's insane. Jersey Boys is good. Like Jersey Boys. Wicked was excellent. I need to see the movie.
Have you ever seen Rent?
I've not. No, I've not. I haven't been in a while, but my mom really, really liked musicals, so we went. You know, growing up in Valpo.
Seen Les Mis?
I've never seen Les Mis. No, I've never. I've seen it on TV, like on PBS.
Mine would be
in the day.
Mine would be Rent 1, Les Mis 2, Hamilton 3.
Hamilton is awesome.
Yep.
It is awesome.
And a sleeper, Dear Evan Hansen was good.
Yeah.
Recent one. Anyway.
I've seen Book of Mormon 3 times.
I don't think I've ever seen Book of Mormon.
I heard South Park is funny to me, so
I heard it's funny.
It is funny, but it is, they like to cuss and say some wild
I wonder
stuff.
if Kevin Willard is a Broadway guy. Do you think he's a Broadway guy or no?
I'm going to guess no.
Could be a little bit of a sleeper Broadway guy. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Are you surprised that I'm so cultured with Broadway?
I'm shocked. To be honest. I mean, I would love to see you in.
All right, how about this? Listen to this.
Can we get you in the Technicolor coat?
I look handsome. I look smart. I am a walking work of art.
Wow! Holy crap! Look at that.
I know all of Joseph's songs. Earlier in the year, we went to this John Williams symphony thing where they played a bunch of his movie stuff. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, I'm cultured.
Yeah, I'm very surprised.
I speak Spanish. I took Rosetta Stone on Italian when I played in Italy. I can count to 10 in Russian.
Do you know Italian from that?
No. I quit like a month in. It was too hard. I could speak Spanish enough.
All right. From high school?
I took it in middle school and a little bit of high school, and then I lived there for a year playing. So.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah,
you
so
lived in a nice,
Jeff.
Right? You lived in like a nice area in Spain, didn't you? On the water?
No, it was the slums.
Was it?
Slums. Oh, I was just kidding. It was fine. It was good. They had amazing seafood. Yeah, it was cool. North of Portugal.
Let's get to the Terps.
You brought us here.
I know. I just wanted to see. Listen, the Joseph thing threw me off, man.
Yeah.
Joseph.
Oh my
I remember
God,
I remember the
Heroes
the
number
tune.
2.
Yeah, I remember the tune. I don't know the words, but they killed him. They
did not kill Joseph.
They didn't kill him, but they didn't kill him. They didn't kill him.
Dude. You don't know. It's in the Bible, and B, it's a musical. You don't know the story if you think they killed Joseph. They faked his death, dude. They said they killed him.
Correct.
Or they said he died.
Right, but they left him. They
put him in a pit,
and then
they sold him to some guy.
Yeah, he became like.
But then he became Pharaoh's number 2.
Yeah, Pharaoh's number 2. There you go. Look at you.
And he predicted 7 years of great crops and then 7 years of bad. But it was the first. They were able to hoard all.
I'm going to see if maybe we can get you the Joseph role in
Donny Osmond is going back to play Pharaoh in London. He's not going to be Joseph anymore, but he's doing it. Yeah, my mom said to me.
Big time.
This podcast has totally lost its way.
Totally lost its way. Totally lost its way. All right. The Terps, could they be a Final Four team, and what would hold them back?
Their depth would hold them back. I think outside of their starting five, it's a bit of a struggle in terms of scoring. And I like Tafari Gapari. I think he can make a three. He made a three last night. He's athletic. Like Jay Young is just solid, although he gave pretty good minutes last night, I thought too. I didn't even think Maryland played that well last night, but they got Wisconsin in foul trouble. Tonje and Blackwell with 2 at the half. And, Jacoby Gillespie made plays when he needed to, but compared to how well he's been playing,
right,
man, his jumper was loose last night. And they weren't just missing like
is he
long
hurt?
And short.
Is he
hurt?
hurt?
I don't think so. He was awesome at Indiana, but then he shot a couple air balls. Like he banked one in. Like he was a little wild with his jumper. I like Selton Miguel, but he can sometimes ride the wave of like really, really good. And then, kind of what are you doing? Rodney Rice has been tremendous. He has been tremendous. Yep. Derek Queen struggled, but he's obviously talented.
Made some plays at the end, though.
But he made that left-hand finish at the end and certainly guarded at the end. Yes. Made some nice defensive plays, which is where, Northwestern hunted him. Teams in the Big Ten have gone at Derek Queen. They've made him guard, and it's kind of been a mixed bag. And then I give a lot of credit to Julian Reese. I think his leadership on this team has been really good. And I don't necessarily know if that's something you would have said in past years, but
no, you wouldn't have.
Just from hearing Kevin Willard talk about kind of the way he's taken Queen under his arm. And, I was watching the Northwestern game like 2 weeks ago, and he was coaching him hard, like not berating him, but, challenging him, getting after him. And I like that. He's making his free throws. He's just worked on his game. He has worked on his game, and, he's always been a load to deal with. But, I think this could be a second weekend team. I think what holds them back from the Final Four is probably the number of guys that you're going to need. Having 5 is, that's going to be a lot of minutes over the next month and a half. And then on top of that, any type of foul trouble, there is significant drop-off. But I like Willard's team. I think he did a great job in the portal of being like, we had no shooting last year. We will get shooting to put next to Reese and Queen. Yep. And last year it was like if Jameer Young didn't kill and Julian Reese didn't play well, they had no chance. And even if they did, you needed one of those guys to make a shot, and they couldn't. So you go get 40% guys. That is a great job of evaluation in the portal.
Your next game is Indiana at Purdue, correct?
Yes.
And it is Friday night?
Tomorrow night. 8 p.m.
Woodson's actually kind of had Paint's number, hasn't he? A little bit.
He beat him 2 years ago. I don't know what his record is.
I think it's like even. At least he's held even with him, I think, over the course of his career.
Last year, hold on. I don't know if it's even.
They split last year?
No, Purdue swept him last year.
They did. So 2 years ago.
2 years ago they split, I believe. Yeah, last year it was Purdue won both.
Yeah. Did Indiana beat him at Purdue?
They beat him at Purdue in 23.
Right. Okay. That's what it was.
So that's for Hood Schifino. Actually, so yeah, they did. They swept him. They beat him at Assembly Hall.
That's what I thought.
And then they beat him. Yeah. They beat him at Mackey. And then the year before that.
Can they beat him?
And then they split. They split
3 years
ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is what type of home court advantage are you going to have when Michigan comes in, when UCLA comes in? You need to get some momentum so that you make sure you have you just need to get momentum anyway.
You need momentum, period.
Yes.
They just you've lost 4 out of your 5 games. You've had 2 very winnable ones. Northwestern was right there. Maryland, you give away. Like they just don't execute late in the game. And I think that's the biggest thing. You watch Indiana over this stretch. The Illinois game, just not good enough from an all-around perspective. But the Ohio State game, they show fight. Like you're like, okay, like you can build off this. Northwestern, they're right there, and then they just kind of crumbled at the end. And for Maryland, there were positives, but the end was so negative. it's been hard all year long for this Indiana team to put together a full 40 minutes of consistent play. And some of the mistakes that are made, whether it's not knowing the play at the end of the Maryland game, or it's just not rebounding at all against Illinois, who's the best offensive rebounding team in the league, or it's the turnovers at Northwestern. There's always kind of something in this streak here. Like you've got to start putting together longer stretches of mistake-free basketball. But we've been saying that all season long, and it just might be what this team is.
You know what the hard thing is when you're a coach and you don't know what you're going to get out of every single player for the most part. And I think that's the problem with Woodson. It's like, hey, one night Mackenzie Mbako looks like a first round
and he
pick.
started to kind of trend back up, right?
Yep.
These last 2 games, but he was 0 for 15 over a 4-game stretch. Ballo has been pretty good. I mean, since that like weird, I don't know if it was suspension or whatever, he's got 6 or 7 double-doubles and has averaged like 18 and 11. He's
the guards haven't. Carlisle has not been what they were hoping, and Miles Rice has been good.
Yeah, but not great. Not great. And for Carlisle, he was so high volume, but now he's expected to kind of be a guy off the bench. Yeah. But look at what he did in the Ohio State game. He played 36 minutes, and he had his best game because he could kind of shoot through
7 minutes
mistakes
against Maryland.
Yeah, and who's been really good for them has been Goody. I know he went back to the bench for the last game, but he's been awesome in Big Ten play. Second in the league in 3-point shooting.
Is it more again when we talk about Arkansas struggles and them not fitting, the pieces not fitting together? Do you think it's more that with Indiana, or more just that they're not playing? They're not playing with the effort that they should be, or is it a little bit of everything?
I think a little bit of everything, honestly. You just want to see more 3-point shooting because of the way the game is played. Yes. A lot like we've talked about with Cal. Yeah. And it's just they don't shoot a lot of them, they don't make a lot of them, and they don't look to take a lot of them, right? Like they are a team that is going to really score on 2s. But the problem is in conference play, they're shooting like an abysmal 48% from 2, which is last in the league. So, Galloway has been up and down here. He was thought of as being, a guy that could probably be counted on night in and night out. And I think Trey Galloway is an excellent player in the right role.
I agree.
I think that as long as he's in the right place, he can be very effective. But yeah, I don't know. It's been disappointing, but I guess the good thing is if you're an Indiana fan, you still have opportunities over the next 6 where if you win some of these, you can get into the tournament. But the problem is they are all losable games. You could lose 6 in a row and you've lost 8 straight and like 10 of 11. So you've got to – I just want to see Indiana go all out on effort. And, as if they play hard tomorrow and you leave it all on the floor, you live with the mistakes you make, they do mess up some stuff, whether it's, assignments or overhelping or whatever you want to say, rebounding, turnovers. I just want to see an elite effort in a game where, weird things have happened and, leave it out there. That's what they need to do.
Hold on. Is there a better point guard in the country than Braden Smith right now? Would you take anybody over Braden Smith?
I don't think I would.
Me either.
He is elite, man. That dude. Those high to low bounce passes he throws.
Do you like his beard?
I mean, if he likes it, sure. Look good, play good. So
could you grow a beard? Like, how long would it take you to grow a Braden Smith beard?
It would take me a decent amount of time, probably. He's got like a Harden-like depth to it.
I know.
Like that thing is pretty good. Who would you even put in the conversation? I think Yakachonis is certainly considered a better prospect, I think, as a point guard, but I wouldn't take Braden Smith over.
I'd take Braden. I'd take Braden because I just, man.
Cam Jones, but he's had some struggles here in Big East play.
Too.
No doubt. I mean, Braden Smith is a pure point guard. He is looking to pass, but he can also really, really shoot. Who else was even in the conversation? I don't know. Braden Smith is awesome. He is an awesome player.
Awesome, right? Awesome.
I don't know anybody else that's throwing high to low bounce passes the way that he is. And fitting them in windows and stuff. I've never seen that before.
Again, the one thing with Braden too, I just think his IQ is so high. He makes people better whenever he wants to. He can pick his spots. He'd be fun to play with. Yeah, I mean defensively,
he's leading the league. He's leading the league in steals.
Yeah, that doesn't.
No, I know, but he's not a zero defender.
No. He's definitely not. He's just, obviously, and part of the problem is just, they're small. They're small. Yeah. So, and he's got so much on his plate. Like, that's the other part that's incredible to me is like, he doesn't really have guys to take a lot of pressure off him this year.
Yeah, I think those freshmen are starting to really help Purdue. C.J. Cox has scored it, especially against ranked people. And Jakari Harris is starting to play a little better. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's no Lance Jones, and Fletcher Lawyer's had a great year. But in terms of the ball handling, Lance took some off the plate you're talking about.
All right, we're going to end with this, Rob.
I closed my eyes, drew back the
this is my shit right here. Yep, Donnie. You know what else is funny about Joseph? Mike Hall from Big Ten Network was in he was in the children's choir.
Yeah, he looks like he could have played Joseph.
No, he wasn't Joseph, but he was one of the kids.
He looks like he could have, though.
Don't give him that compliment.
I'm telling you, I think Mike Hall would be a better Joseph than you. Much better.
Well, yeah, Mike has experience of being on stage. I only have one experience of really performing on stage like that. The 5th grade talent show. My mom made me.
What'd you do?
I don't even want to say it.
What'd you do?
Yeah. I have video of this, but you'll never see it.
What'd you do?
I did a dance as a 5th grader to Staying Alive.
What kind of dance?
Saturday Night Fever, Staying Alive.
By yourself?
No, it was me and 2 dudes that went to my elementary school.
Who?
You don't know them. Dale Clapp and Eric Vaughn, 2 legends.
All right, that's gonna be my goal.
It will never. I swear to God, you could literally have me assassinated. That shit is locked so tight. You'll never see it. You'll never see it.
Saturday Night Fever with Robbie Hummel. If that ever gets out,
my mom listens to this podcast. Mom, why didn't you let us? The other performances were like Ball with the Ball and that LFO song about Abercrombie and Fitch.
So you had the whole.
And she had outfit? Me doing the 70s Saturday Night Fever.
You were pointing up. Were you doing that?
That was a part of the performance. Yeah.
Nice. We learned a lot about you in this episode. A lot about you.
I've lived all over the world. I mean, I can't believe you said I'm not cultured. I've lived in Spain, Milan. I played for Armani's team. I lived in Moscow.
It doesn't mean you're cultured.
I've probably played basketball in 25 countries.
Again,
have you been to China?
Cultured.
Have you been to China?
Because you end up there.
Have you been to Korea?
Never.
Yeah, I have. Have you been to Japan?
Never.
You had sushi in Japan or dumplings in Japan? You're not cultured at all. How sad.
All right. Next week, we'll find out more about Robbie Hummel that we did not know. This week, he's a diehard Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat fan.
Get it right. The amazing Technicolor.
We're going to listen, for anybody, I forget the names he mentioned, but if those 2 elementary or middle school classmates of yours have video, okay, I will pay top dollar. We will raise the money. We will pay top dollar for the video of Saturday Night Fever with Robbie Hummel. We'll see you next week here on Goodman and Hummel. Appreciate you.